Welcome to the Ask Domnat show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, the fastest 30 minutes of your day to make you an overall more informed person. My name is Dominique Pineda, but you might know me as Ask Domnat. And guys, today we have a fantastic show. It's a show to start the week. It's a snowy week, so you guys are probably indoors anyways. Gives you great opportunity to watch the show, get caught up on what happened last week and what to expect this week. And oh, what a week it was. So let's get into it. The rundown for today's show, February 23rd rundown. If you missed it, Mexican cartel boss El Mencho has been killed. You might have not ever heard of this guy, but he has been killed. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure that can you guys hear me? My mic is on. I think my mic is on. I'm pretty sure. Give me 1 second. Let me talk to my production really quick, guys. Make sure that okay, great. So El Mencho has been killed. Next, Trump tariffs struck down by the Supreme Court. If you haven't been keeping up, which most of you haven't, that's why you watch the show. Trump had a pretty big loss in the Supreme Court, and then he came back with the ultimate power move, which is fantastically amazing if you are on the Trump camp, and it's honestly demoralizing if you're not. So if you're anywhere in the middle, it's just popcorn theater. Lastly, I have something to share with you guys, a database full of side hustles that you can check out in my Ask Dom Now All Access community. There are side hustles that you can take on right now to bring some extra money in your pockets with not too much effort, but we'll get into that. So the first thing is Mexican cartel boss El Mencho. There's this guy. He actually looks pretty good for being, I think he was like 50 something. Ultimately, let's get into some scenes. He was the leader of the cartel, the new Jalisco New Generation Cartel. He's the one that took over for El Chapo, if you remember El Chapo. And when he was killed, this is the outrage that happened all throughout Mexico. There is a no-fly, no travel order, travel ban throughout Mexico. Look at these cars are burning. Why do they burn the cars? Because they try to stop police and military operations from going through the city. So this isn't just burning cars to show, I'm upset. We hate the fact that you killed our kingpin. No, it is, we don't know the extent of this attack. When he was killed out in what's the name of the city that he was killed in? Well, he was killed on the way to maybe to Mexico City. I think he was injured in his hideout. So what's happening is, if you're in the cartel, let's pause it there. Perfect. Let's pause that. If you're in the cartel, you're thinking to yourself, whoa, they just killed our guy. And the crazy thing about this guy is that he was in the 90s here in the United States. He was in California, and he got arrested for conspiracy to distribute. He was in the drug ring. He got arrested in California, served a couple years in jail, and then when he was released, where did he go to? Mexico. And then what did he do in Mexico? Became a police officer. This guy went from being a drug dealer in California, said, you know what? I see all the money flowing in. Let me go to Mexico. And he became a police officer. That is my biggest problem with all these governments. Mexico is kind of on the top of my list. There's a couple African governments there. Certainly some other ones that I can't talk about without getting letters and blah, blah, blah. But they're all crooks, corrupt. The police that you're getting stopped by just served drug time, and then later on went on to become the biggest drug kingpin in the city or in the country. So this chucklehead replaced. He was the head hitman for another cartel throughout the early 2000s and so forth. He was the head hitman for another cartel. He was so good that he got recruited by the opposite cartel, the New Jalisco cartel. What? You when you start getting recruited from cartels because of how vicious you are, Tapalpa. Tapalpa is where he was hiding out. That's where they found him. Shot him and like four other cartel bad guys. Bing, bing, bing. And then when they were trying to transport him to Mexico City, he died. I think they killed him. I wouldn't be surprised. Why would you want him alive? I mean, that no good things can come from him being alive. They're just going to try to break him out of prison. But long story short, the CIA, the DEA, everybody wanted this guy gone. And coming straight from the top, the president even said earlier this year, hey, Mexico, por favor, ustedes tienen que en realidad hacer algo. Hacer algo con... No, he didn't speak in Spanish. Pero he did say, you guys got to do something with this drug and cartel problem because, you know, there's not bueno here for the USA. We got some bad hombres. So what happened? Mexico saw what happened in Venezuela. Trump said, if you guys don't do anything, we may send boots on the ground or drone strikes. We will classify, and they classified these cartels as terrorist organizations. And in the world of international diplomacy, when the United States categorizes you as a terrorist organization, that just means that you might start seeing shooting stars over your bunker and hideout pretty soon. So what comes next? Now, all of this, like, you know, if you were in all these Puerto Vallarta, Guadalajara, all of these tourist towns, they told you your flights ain't coming. You are all by yourself. That's why sometimes I don't like to go to Mexico. I actually have never been to Mexico. I know some people who have. No gracias. Instability. And who wants to be stuck? Who? There's always something happening in Mexico. I don't know what the fascination with going to Mexico is. When I see a crowd of people coming this way up the border, why do I want to go that way? Sorry. If you are from Mexico, let me know. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, no, there's beautiful parts. Of course there are. Then there's the cartels. And then, but it's not even the cartels. It's that they're all in the government. They're all like, Mexico has the highest rate of like lawyers being murdered than anywhere in the world. It's crazy. It's lawless in some cases. But don't get me started. I guess you already have. But now, here's the real kicker. No pun intended. FIFA. What's going to happen with FIFA? They canceled a couple games this weekend because of all the violence, right? They were like, well, we can't have these games. But guess what? They have games scheduled for the FIFA World Cup in a couple months. Whoa. Is all this instability going to carry on to the FIFA World Cup? You got cartels warning there will be violence. Now people are asking Dom, what does he think? I do not listen to me for your travel plans. Please don't. Consult your ambassador, your security, like whatever. Talk to your family if soccer means that much to you that you got to go to Mexico and see. But I will tell you that I don't think that these cartels have it in them to do anything crazy. Because, okay, this El Mencho got killed. There's going to be a power vacuum now. There's going to be somebody that comes in to become the top guy. El Mencho had a $15 million bounty on his head. $15 million. You imagine how many pesos that is? That's a lot of pesos. So now all we got to do is start looking for the guy who's ordering the extra family size taco bags. A lot of Mexicans, and I'm saying this with pure endearment, they like the big trucks. All my Mexican friends like the big trucks. We're just going to see the guy that last week was rolling in a small little car, but now he has a big truck with the nice rims, got a little bit of gold on them. We're going to know who got that 15 million. We're going to know pretty soon. But what's happening? Now there's going to be a number 2 guy that comes to number 1. That's all this happened. It's all about money, people. There is no trust and loyalty among criminals. So when you think about the FIFA World Cup, you got to start thinking to yourself, how is this going to help bring the money if they're stopping tourism from coming in? I don't think so. All these wild fans coming in, what do they love? They love soccer and drugs. Mexico, full of soccer and drugs. So I think, the Mexican cartel's involved in the avocado smuggling trade. So there's a lot of opportunities. But more importantly, outside of the opportunity to swindle people into getting more money, I also think that Mexico cartels understand where their threshold is. They have a militia, no doubt about that. And I don't want no problems. Por favor, yo no quiero ninguno problema con ustedes. Just let me be. I'm just a guy with a show. But there are countries out there that will have representatives in these countries, in Mexico. No, whether that's United States, England, all these, China, blah, blah, blah. And I know that those countries, the United States being the primary one, protects their citizens like no other country in the history of this earth that we know of. I mean, maybe like Han Dynasty China or whatever. But I think that if things get too rowdy, I wouldn't even be surprised if it's an excuse to go in and take over some Mexican territory. What? You guys couldn't protect our citizens? We will come in and we will take over some beachfront Mexican pavillas. I wouldn't be surprised. So I don't think that it's really going to happen. I think Mexico City, probably the reason that they executed this attack now on this tourist or terrorist group or cartel is because they want to prepare for this World Cup. So, it is what it is, but good for Mexico for advancing their national security. And Viva Mexico! Let's see how it turns out, guys. All right, next, what are you missing today? Trump tariffs struck down. So if you missed it, Trump put out a tariff across all these countries. Appreciate the like. You guys remember that if you're watching, I can't always see because of the platform that we're using. Let me know if we should be using one. Doesn't let me know who's all watching. I just see that you guys are watching. Thanks for the support. But let me know where you're calling in, where you're watching from. But Trump put out tariffs before. They're like, hey, here are all these tariffs, reciprocal tariffs, 10% tariffs, and they were under the guise of what's called the emergency, I forgot, like International Emergencies Act, meaning like we have a national emergency and we need tariffs to stop businesses from flooding our markets with their stuff, or one of our businesses or industries is fledgling, like our car or steel business. It's an emergency and we need to stop stuff from coming into the country. We need to combat our enemy, and our enemies in this case would be Canada, Great Britain, England, whatever, China, Russia, all these companies sending us stuff, Pakistan, whatever. The Supreme Court said, well, you know what? Not a good reason to not a good reason to really get with the Emergency Powers Act, because these aren't really emergency. These are more policies, and you probably want to not probably, you need to go to Congress to get this tariff out there, because Congress is the one that shows tariff policies and confines them into what the people want in this country. And so they were like, no, these tariffs are illegal. Now, here's a couple questions. Trump gets really upset. Now, remember, Trump put 3 of the Supreme Court justices that voted against it. No, he put 2 of them. 3 of them are Republicans. He appointed 2 of them in the Supreme Court. So he's like, you guys are awful. Yeah. Bad Supreme Court justices. What does he post, though? He, after thinking about it, Trump posts, let me see here. I might not read the entire thing. So, guys, if you want to go read the entire thing, go on your own time. Let me see here. It says, based on a thorough, detailed, and complete review of this ridiculously poorly written and extraordinarily anti-American decision on tariffs issued yesterday after many months of contemplation by the United States Supreme Court. Please let this statement serve to represent that I, as President of the United States of America, will be effective immediately, raising the 10% worldwide tariff on countries, many of which have been ripping the United States off for decades without retribution until I came in to the fully allowed and legal tested 15% level. Okay, that's it. So Trump said, you know what? You guys aren't allowing me to put tariffs, so what am I going to do? I'm going to put tariffs. I'm going to put tariffs, and you guys stop me. So there's this provision that says he can put tariffs up until 150 days, more or less. But he says, you know what? I'm going to not only put the 10%, I'm going to make it 15% for the next 150 days. Woo! That's a big FU to whoever thought that the Supreme Court could stop a man with a dream. All this man wants to do is put tariffs, and the people want to stop him, and he's like, no. So we'll see how that works out. And the reality is, the problem with using this Supreme Court or this Emergency Powers Act is that, okay, this is Trump doing it for tariffs, but what's to stop the next president from doing it for something else? All right, like, okay, Trump is saying, hey, we have a national emergency, so I need to put tariffs. Well, what's to stop another president from saying, okay, we have a national emergency, so I have to stop people from leaving the country. We need to stop businesses, like whatever. There could be a whole host of things that can come about when you start claiming national emergencies. And right now it's the Republicans, but soon enough the Democrats will come in. So if you're a Republican, any Democratic policy that you want or that you don't want, it might come in under a claim of national emergency. And Mr. Fireball 619 says, for as long as America has been deflecting the inflation problem onto the rest of the world with tariffs, now inflation problem is in our hands. Absolutely. I think, and then they want so bad to stop inflation by decreasing interest rates, but refuse to shut off the money printer. Well, if you've been keeping up, and Mr. Fireball 619 certainly has, you know that inflation right now is pegged because most of America's economy is based on debt. They need us to keep spending. The problem with tariffs is that tariffs raise prices on everything. If you don't know, and this is not political at all, the way tariffs work is saying, hey, if you want to bring your items into the country, let's say this phone built in Vietnam costs $100 to build there. It's probably even less, I would say, but let's say it costs $100 to build there. By the time they ship it here, it costs the company Apple $200. So at the very least, they have to sell it for $200. Well, the problem is when you build it here, it might cost $300, $400. Now, who has to pay for that extra bump up if they build it here? Well, you as a consumer do. Apple's not going to take the loss. So you still want your stuff. Now you might put it on a credit card. And they'll give you low interest rates, whatever, to put on a credit card for something that you don't need, but what you want. So tariffs is saying, well, you know what? Build stuff here. But in case you don't want to build it here, if you still import it, it's not going to cost you $200. It's now we're going to increase it. That's when you say you have 100% tariffs or 10% tariffs. 10% tariffs in this case, if you bring something in for $200, it's going to cost $20, 10% of the value of it that you have to pay the government. Now, who pays that? Well, it's the company that's importing the good. So if you're a company here that's importing, I'm into farming, so I import a lot of stuff from overseas, farming equipment, and if it's worth $10,000 farming equipment that I buy from China, and here it costs $30,000, now I still got to pay my 10 to 15% tariffs. So it's $1,500 that I'm paying. Great. That's when it comes to equipment. But if I'm selling that, right, I pay the government. It's a bill of lading. I pay the government to declare that I brought something in from another country because they want me to buy it from here. Well, the Trump administration has collected over 135, some people say that it's $170 billion in these taxes from small businesses that can't necessarily pass on these costs to their consumers. I mean, imagine going to the store and seeing what you used to pay $3 for now going to $4.50. Some people might not buy it anymore. So the government, the Supreme Court says, hey, you collected all this money, but the way you collected it was illegal, so you got to give it back. So if you're a small business, you might have some money that is owed to you by the government that you can get back. And if that's not the case, well, who's going to keep that money? What's the government going to do with it? We know what they're going to do with it, guys. You know what they're going to do with it. Tell me what you think the government's going to do with all that extra money. Tell me what you guys think the government's going to do with all that extra $135 billion. I could tell you, but I'm not allowed to tell you. You just know what they're going to do. But in case you want some extra money, let's go on to our next segment. What is our next segment? It is actually, let me share my screen. And I want to show, before we get into this, I'm going to tease you guys. I am applying for this value-added producer grant here, talking about money that the government owes you. Please give me 3 minutes of your time at the end of the show so I can show you how I'm getting some free money. I just got a little bit of extra money. But again, like I said, I'm just teasing you there. So let me show you. Guys, I am in the Ask Domnat All Access community, and we added something great for y'all. All right, so I'm going to go over the grant list here in a bit. But I added, if you are in the Ask Domnat All Access community, which I know some of you guys already are, free for the first 100 people, I added this tab here, Side Hustle Database. If you come here, if you're looking to get some extra money, I talk about entrepreneurship. I talk about starting your own business or growing your business, but there's just sometimes where you just don't have the time and capabilities to do that right now. So you just want some extra money. Let me start off by just showing you some of my favorite things that I found on the Side Hustle Database that we put together. Become a virtual friend. All right. It's a service-based business. Here's how this is broken down. It's service. It's indoor, low-cost startup, if any, minimal brain power, no card needed, no skills, and sometimes it's just phone only. There are other options. So if you click on this, what does it do? It takes you to this website, papa.com/pals. You can make up to $22 an hour by helping people that just need it. There are some older people. You can be a companion. You can be like, there's some people in need, be a companion, help meal prep, run errands. There's some people that just need to talk to somebody, right? Like not a therapist, just a friend. Provide. So here, what do you need? Validate your driver's license, if insured vehicle, if you're going to be going somewhere. And the qualifications are very simple. You just got to go through a safety training and all that other good stuff. Is there a link to get into the All Access? Absolutely, Victor. We will provide that link and put the scan up. But absolutely, All Access, Ask Domnat. But this right here, you can make $22 an hour. Give me 1 second, guys. And here, it's at the bottom of the screen, Victor. The link to get into the All Access. askdomnat.circle.so/all access. But you can also go to askdomnat.com to join. But this one is just one option. Become a virtual friend. If you are a friendly guy like me, and you just be talking to people. I meet random people. I spend time with random people. Look at me and y'all. I'm doing this because I love y'all. But I could be getting paid $22 an hour for this. Thank you. All right. So what's the next one? I saw another one that I like. This one here, get paid for gas with Upside. Now this one isn't really a hustle. It's more of if you already spend money on stuff, right? Like this one is, I guess these companies look to work with local companies, and hold on, I'm gonna they look to work with local companies, primarily gas stations and food places that you already eat at, and they get coupons. So if I go to find offer near me, look, allow this time. I already did this earlier. Look at this. So there's some gas stations, and boy, oh boy, if you know me, you know I will drive an extra 5 minutes to get the 5 cents cheaper gas, right? But they're telling you the places where you can get immediate cash back. So this is cash back to you. So this isn't really a side hustle. It's more of a money saving on stuff that you need to buy anyways. This place here is 11% off if I'm going to be eating somewhere already, this is more of an incentive for me to eat there. I saw Five Guys was like, where is that at? I saw it here earlier. Five Guys was like 20% off or something like that. This one 6% off. So it's Little Caesars 25% off. I don't know if you guys can see that. 25% off. So it's just giving you all these deals as a form of cash back. Not necessarily a side hustle, but it's definitely a money saving thing there if you're already going to be doing it. Now there's other ones. There's proofreading. There's one that's surveys, right? Like let me do this one here. Boom. Now I'm going to try to log in. This here, you get paid to take surveys. You get paid to give feedback on online shopping experiences. You come here, you sign up with your Google, your Gmail, get paid a couple bucks, get 5, 10, 20 bucks maybe. And they've paid up to $682 million so far. Check those claims out for yourself. But get paid to play some games. And now this might sound weird to a lot of people, but here's the reality. I work with a lot of companies. We do digital marketing. We do digital ads. And every time, and then we build apps. And every time we do these things, we always have to talk about, is this what people want? What are people saying? You are my client. I am your developer. I'm your consultant. And we're in this room. We've been working on this for weeks, months, and sometimes years on a project. But is this really what people want? And the only way to truly know what people want is for these companies to pay for sometimes blind studies, surveys, and get real feedback from users. And this is the easiest way to convince them to do it. So check out the full list of the Side Hustle database. I have it here for you guys. Over 100 different opportunities. Upwork. I mean, if you have old electronics, swappa.com is one place that you can swap them out, get some money for it, buy some before you go and you buy some electronics, new electronics, check those out. So a lot of stuff there. Let me know if you know of any other side hustles that I should be adding there. But I've known people, actually close friend of mine works with me, that used to pick dog poop up just randomly on for neighbors with big yards and dogs that don't, not neighbors, I guess clients, just ride around with a doggy bag and a pooper scooper. Is that the best thing? No, but it's probably a good enough thing to put on a podcast, listen to something informative, figure out what you want to do while you make some cash versus just staying home, sitting down. Now, if you're at home and watching the Ask Domnat show, then I encourage you not to go anywhere. Stay right there. Now, what did I tease you about earlier? If you are, please, I know Mr. Fireball 619, I know your passion and your love for farming. So this one here is particularly for you as well. You are in the Ask Domnat All Access community. So what you'll see in there is me going through this in more detail. But we talked about all those tariffs. Well, look, let me not get political, but essentially American farmers have been struggling, and they put money out to the tune of $25 million to help new and beginning farmers in particular get some help. This is what it's called a value-added producer grant that's coming out. It opened February 17th through the 26th. 2026, and it's going to close on April 22nd. So you have about 2 months or so to apply. But what is this? It is a grant that you can get up to $50,000, but there's a caveat there. It's a grant that allows for new beginning farmers and ranchers, veteran farmers, socially disadvantaged farmers. I'm not going to say anything, but I know some of you guys watching are socially disadvantaged people. And if you don't have a farm yet, you're a beginning farmer. This is everything that they want people to come into farming and add more value. Meaning, what does that mean? It means if you're taking seeds and producing market garden crops, you are transforming that seed into something consumable for people. That is the essence of farming. It's giving you opportunity to start your agriculture production. Okay, who can apply? Who is eligible? Let me go through this. Agricultural producers, agricultural producer group. So if you don't feel like you could do it yourself, let's get it into a group. Farmers and ranch cooperative, majority owned based business ventures. And what are they doing? Up to $50,000 planning grant, meaning if you have something that you need done, they do a 1-to-1 match, meaning if you're asking for $50,000, then they want to see you put in $50,000. But here's the amazing part, right? Which may include cash or eligible in-kind contribution. Meaning, let's say 50,000. If you're new and you're just starting, you might not even have your farm yet. We got 2 months to get you all set up. Like, I'm doing this. I'm showing you guys in the Ask Domnet All Access community. I actually go through my application and how I'm putting it in. I actually just got another grant recently for some high tunnels. So I do this, guys. But the in-kind donation is really important because let's say you just need $10,000 to start. You're asking for $10,000. Well, what you can do is let me zoom in here. Sorry, guys, if you guys can't see my screen. What you can do is you can say, I'm looking for $10,000 to do X. And I will tell you what X can be in the All Access community because I go through this. And I don't have $10,000 to put in myself right now, but what I have is time. So I'm going to put my time in to get this done. And my time is worth, let's say you say, hey, you know what? The average person gets paid $20 an hour in this, scenario. $10 an hour times 100 hours is, I guess, what is that? $2,000? $2,000. So you have to put in more than 100 hours, whatever, multiply that, maybe 500 hours of work to equal $10,000. And if you have a farm, you're putting in way more than 500 hours of work. I'll tell you, that's light work. So that will show that you're putting in your time as part of, they might be buying the material if you want. Now there are certain things that they want to see you focus on. I break all of that down in the All Access community. I go through my application. You will see my application. We are trying to do a mobile chicken coop tractor. I can't tell you how much I'm asking for, $30,000. I can't tell you when I'm asking for it, today. I can't tell you how I applied and I won. I can't tell you any of these things right here because the algorithm doesn't want you to know. So I have to show you guys in the All Access community. And if you want to know more, I almost just want to log in and show you guys where I'm at. Let me see here. If you go to how to apply, you go to the portal, you're going to see here, sign in to value added. There's all authentication stuff, but your application, you're so close to winning your next government grant. And if I was, you could take this off. If I was a lesser man, I would not show you guys this. I will not show you guys how you can win free money to start your farming enterprise. I would not, because I wouldn't keep it to myself. But there is no gatekeeping in the All Ask Domnet community and All Access community. There is no gatekeeping amongst family and friends. So I want you guys, if they tell me, hey, Dom, your application came in second because somebody had such a strong application, but he said he learned that from Ask Domnet every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern, the fastest 30 minutes of your day to make you an overall more informed person. My name is Dominique Pereira, but you might know me as Ask Domnet, and happy granting.